Hello friends, today I am going to discuss the rotational spectroscopy. As we all know that I have discussed in my previous video in which I discuss about the UV visible spectroscopy. I told about this that when the matter interacts with electromagnetic radiation, spectrum arises. The molecular levels present in the molecules are also quantized, and we all knew that there are three types of the labels. One is the electronic labels, vibration labels, and in between vibration labels there are rotational labels. So as we know that the rotational levels are in between the vibrational levels, so for transition into the rotational levels, the least amount of energy is required. If we pass the radiations, electromagnetic radiations of the microwave region through the particular molecules, then the transition in the rotational levels occurs and we get the rotational spectroscopy or the rotational, you can say rotational spectrum, because the radiations of the microwave region, that is 1 to 10 centimeter inverse, having so less energy that they are not able to or you can say the molecules are not able to get the transition in the vibrational levels or the electronics level. That's why this least amount of energy, only the transition in the rotational levels of the molecule possible. That's why this is called the microwave or the rotational spectroscopy. The first and foremost condition for the molecules for the showing the rotational spectroscopy is that the molecule must possess dipole moment and it should be in gaseous state for showing the rotational spectroscopy. Why the dipole moment is required? Because what do we mean by the dipole moment? Dipole moment is the product of charge and distance. So whenever in the molecule the development of the charges occurs due to the polar nature of the atoms, then it shows the dipole moment. So here in the figure, I have taken the example of one polar diatomic molecule in which the plus and negative sign shows the development of the charge. So when this molecule, this is the linear diatomic molecule. So when it, you can say, rotates around its axis, it shows the rotation sign. So when it rotates around the axis, so the movement of the charge also occurs as it rotates around its internuclear axis. So you see, because of this rotation of the dipole moment, the wave is generated. Because of the generation, this wave, you can say this generated wave, when interacts with the oscillating electric field of the microwave radiation, then it interacts and the absorption of the radiation occurs. And this whole process gives rise the spectrum. So this is the way by which we are able to get the rotational spectrum. Now we should discuss what is the rotational spectra of the diatomic molecule. That is the rigid rotor model. So in this model, you can say consider that the diatomic molecule consists of two masses bound together. The distance between the masses or the bond length can be considered fixed because the level of vibration in bond is small compared to the bond length. So the molecule here rotates around its center of gravity. The mass of one molecule is atom m1 and its radius is r1, and the other mass is m2 and radius is r2. The distance between the two atom is you can say r, that is the, or you can say internuclear distance between these two atoms is r, and it is the sum of both the radii, that is r1 plus r2. So r equal to r1 plus r2. So when this molecule rotates around its center of gravity, then what happened? That its moment of inertia, I, should be, we know, all of us know that I equal to sigma mr square. So here this rotating body, the moment of inertia of the rotating body is I equal to sigma mr square. And since the mass is m1 and radius is r1 and mass is m2, radius is r2, so this is equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square. Now we also know, because the system is balanced about its center of gravity, so at that time m1 r1 equal to m2 r2, and we also know r equal to r1 plus r2. By substituting the value of r1 from the equation 3 to the equation 2, what we get, if we take the value of r1, that is r minus r2, and substitute in equation 2, we are able to get r1 equal to m1r upon m1 plus m2. Similarly, r2 equal to m2r upon m1 plus m2. So this is the value that we use later. Now substitute the value of r1 and r2 in the moment of inertia equation, that is equation 1. So I equal to, and instead of r1 we substitute the value this. So we are able to get m1 m2 square r upon m1 plus m2 r square, and similarly in this you can say we get m2 m1 square r upon m1 plus m2 whole square. So if you take the, you can say common, then we are able to get m1 m2 upon m1 plus m2, and remains side m1 plus m2. These both cancels with each other with one of the power, and we are able to get I equal to m1 m2 upon m1 plus m2, and this whole of this thing we can put the mu. Mu is known as the reduced mass. So we are able to get I equal to mu r square. Okay. So it means for the linear diatomic molecule, it means for a rigid rotor, we can take mu, means reduced mass, instead of taking the, you can say different atoms as the single entity. So we can take the mu. Okay, that is mu. Mu is the reduced mass of the molecule. Now we also know that if the angular velocity of the molecule is omega, then kinetic energy of the molecule is given by I omega square, and angular momentum is given by L equal to I omega. So now we take the use of these particular equation, and also because the rotation of the diatomic molecule is quantized, we all know that whenever the quantization takes place, only then interaction occurs. So that's why, because the rotation of diatomic molecule is quantized, so the wave function for the rigid model are found from the solution of the time independent Schrodinger equation. So this is the solution from that time independence Schrodinger equation. We are not going in depth of the solving of the Schrodinger equation. That's this not belongs to in this particular topic. Here I am taking directly the solution, that is equal to h square upon 8 pi square I j into j plus 1. Here it considered as equation 7, where we know j is the rotational quantum number. This value varies from 0 to 1 to etc. Similarly, and we also know j is the lowest level, and the molecule is not rotating in this particular level, and the rotational frequency is the same as the frequency of the microwave radiation need to cause the rotation. So if we consider this value in the rotational terms, matlab means if I want to convert, instead of we all know that in MKS energy is represented in terms of the joule, and in CGS it is in arcs. So instead of representing it in joule or arc, if it represented in terms of the wave number, so for that we have to divide the energy by the H into C. We all know E equal to SC upon lambda. So if we want to represent in terms of 1 upon lambda, then at that time 1 upon lambda equal to E upon SC. So for that, that's why here by equation 7 we divide it by SC, and here we are able to get H upon 8 pi square IC into J plus 1. So this term H upon 8 pi square IC, this is here the both are all are constant, and I is though I is not constant, but for the particular molecule it is constant. So here we use the value is instead of using this whole term, we use the term V. So Fj equal to B into J plus 1, where V is the rotational constant. Okay. So and B equal to H upon 8 pi square C. Generally we use represent the because this is a very small quantity. So generally we put all these terms in terms of the CGS, and the value is in centimeter inverse. So if you substitute the J equal to 0 in this particular term, then what we get is equal to 0. It means E0 equal to 0. What does it signifies? It signifies that at 0 rotational levels, the molecule do not possess any amount of the energy to it, because it means 0 point energy for the rotational levels is 0. No energy is associated at the J equal to 0. It means the molecule is not rotating at all at the J equal to means 0 rotational levels. So, and it is also observed that the rotational constant B is small for large molecule, as I is in the denominator, and if means I is large for the large molecule, so at that's why V is small. So we are able to know these all things by the equation 10. Now, what are the gross selection rules that are applied on the rotational spectroscopy? The first thing is that molecule must possess the permanent dipole moment. The second thing is that delta J equal to plus minus 1 and delta Mj equal to 0 or the plus minus 1. Here both are the quantum number, where J represents the magnitude and Mj represents the projection or the direction of the this angular quantum number. Now, the frequency of the spectral lines we want to determine. So, let us consider the molecule undergo transition from J to J plus 1. So, the change in energy is absorbed. How can we determine the change in energy? Just subtract the energy Ej from the Ej plus 1. So we substitute the value, we know that Ej equal to B into J plus 1. So write the value. So J for the J plus 1, instead of J we will write J plus 1, here J plus 2, then minus Bj into J plus 1, and we solve this and we are able to get delta E equal to 2B into J plus 1, and similarly because all are in CGS unit, so what we write centimeter inverse. So for the transition J equal to 0 to J equal to 1, delta E equal to 2B, as J equal to 0 to 1 when you apply, we are able to get this is 2B. Similarly for 1 to 2 transition, delta equal to 4B, and so on. You can calculate you by your own. So it means that frequency of the consecutive lines in the pure rotational spectrum of the diatomic molecule are 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B, etc. And therefore, on the frequency scales, the lines are equidistant. You can see from this figure. Here J equal to 0, so this is 2B. At 1, this is 4B. When 0 to 1 transition, this is 2B. When 1 to 2, this is 4B. When 2 to 3, this is 6B. When 3 to 4, this is 8B. But the difference, you can see difference between the lines. You can see this is 0 minus 2B, 2B, 4B minus 2B, 2B, 6B minus 4B, 2B. So it means on the frequency of the frequency scales, the lines are the equidistant. You can see from this particular figure, the difference between the rotational lines or the frequency lines are equal. They are separated by the value 2b, 2b, 2b. Now, the intensity of the spectral line. We are able to determine that all the rotational lines are equidistant to each other, but we now want to know what should be the intensity of the spectral line. The selection rule for the rotational spectra is, we know that delta is equal to plus minus 1, and all other transition like delta is equal to plus minus 2 or delta is equal to plus minus 3, all are forbidden, and we are not able to get any spectral line for this. Though all the spectral lines are equidistant, as we have seen above, that is 2b, but all these spectral lines are not equally intense. The intensity is different. In an assemblies of molecules, there will be different number of molecules in each levels to begin with. Therefore, different total number of molecules will carry out transition between the various levels. Since intrinsic probabilities are identical, so the line intensities will be directly proportional to the initial number of molecules in each levels. So, for determining the intensity of the molecule, we required two factors. What are these two factors? The first factor governs the population of the various level given by Boltzmann distribution equation. What is Boltzmann distribution equation? For the normal region, if we are not considering the degeneracy factor, at that time this is equal to nj upon n0 equal to e raised power minus ej upon kg. So here we substitute the value of ej as we have calculated above in the rotational spectroscopy, that is SCV j into j plus 1. Here we take the value in terms of the this arc, okay, and here this k means Boltzmann constant. So k is Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature. Here for just for our knowledge, I here calculate the value for the molecules, determination of the ratio of the molecules in the first level and the zeroth level. So for that, here we consider, let's consider that B equal to 2 centimeter inverse. Temperature I have taken as 300 Kelvin, and C is the velocity of light in centimeter. This is 3 into 10 to the power 10. Here, exponentially we apply the law. So here, B is 2, so write the value of 2. H is Planck constant, so 6.16 10 to the power minus 34. Here 3 into 10 to the power 10 into 1 into 2, the difference value. K is Boltzmann constant, so 1.38 into 10 to the power minus 23 into T, this is 300. So if we solve this particular equation, we are able to get exponential e raised power minus 0.019, that is approximately equal to 0.98. So from here we are able to determine that almost all you can say the number of molecules in the zeroth level and the first levels are nearly equal. You can see here the ratio is 0.98. It means almost as many molecules are present in the first state, first excited state, as they are in the zeroth state in equilibrium. But later on, if we again determine, then we found that number of molecules decreases with increasing number of the G. The second factor is the possibility of the degeneracy in the energy state. And we know that rotational levels are also have the degeneracy. You can see from this figure that in the absence of the external field, the energy of rotational levels only determined by J. J means the value of Mj varies from the magnetic quantum number minus J to plus J. minus J2 plus J, how in you can say in numbers, this is total 2J plus 1 because 0 is also there. Allow you know there that minus 0, 2, 0, 2 plus J. So total values are here 2J plus 1. So that's why the rotational level exhibits the 2J plus 1 fold degeneracy. You can see from these examples also here J equal to 2. So their various you can see levels are minus 2, minus 1, 0, plus 1, plus 2. Similarly for J equal to 3, this varies from minus 3 to plus 3. So total number of these values are 2J plus 1. So it means the degeneracy level for the rotational levels are 2J plus degeneracy factor for the rotational level is 2J plus 1. So it means we also observe that molecular population in each level decreases exponentially. The number of degenerate levels available increases rapidly with J. So both these are you can say are opposites, showing the opposite phenomena. Now I also want to calculate the population of the rotational levels. So the total population of the various rotational level can be calculated now because these two factors are you can say responsible for the determination of the number of molecules in each level. So here in the Boltzmann distribution equation, one more term that is Gj is also included, and at that time so we have to include Gj. Now we can determine the population factor by Nj equal to N0 into Gj into e raised power minus Ej upon Kt. So degeneracy level as we have seen, this is equal to 2J plus 1. So we are able to calculate Nj equal to N0 2J plus 1 exponential minus SCB J into J plus 1 upon Kt. Here remember this is the wrong symbol actually. K is small k, that is the Boltzmann constant. So the total relative population can be determined. So Nj upon N0, this is 2J plus 1 exponentially minus SCB J into J plus 1 upon Kt. Now we want to plot this against J. So we are, if you see from the figure, that population here first rises to the maximum and then it start decreasing and it diminishes. So it means at higher rotational levels, there are less molecules are there. And there is some particular level at which more number of the molecules resides. So we can also calculate the most populated level by simply by the equation dnj upon dj equal to 0. We all knew for the getting the maxima we are using this in mathematics. So here also we want to calculate the maximum value. So dnj upon dj, if you do the differentiation, we are able to get this particular term. So now J maximum equal to this particular value and we are able to get J maximum equal to root KT upon 2 SCB minus 1 upon 2. So now we have observed that line intensities are directly proportional to the population of the rotational levels. Means line intensity depends upon the number of molecules that are present in the particular rotational levels. Hence, the transition between levels with very low or very high J value will have small intensities, while the intensity will be maximum at or near the J value given by the above equation. Now the topic is completed. Here I have not included the for the rotation spectra for the non-rigid rotor and also for the polyatomic molecule. Here I consider only diatomic molecules. So general application of rotational spectroscopy is in the determination of the bond length and bond angle, and also we can determine the dipole moment by the use of the rotational spectroscopy. So these are the basic things that is required. You can say that we can determine by the rotational spectra. Here in our syllabus, the numerical problems are also coming based on the rotational spectra. I have taken the few examples. Here you can see calculate the value of I and R for the CO molecule. V is given. that is 1.92118 centimeter inverse. We have to calculate I. So I we know that is equal to h upon 8 pi square bc. Just substitute all the values. Here I have put the Planck constant in MKS only, that because here centimeter c is I put in the centimeter. So we are able, and b is in centimeter, so both cancel with each other. So it is not required to write all the things in the you means MKS. You can use that one also. You get the same value. So we are able to get I equal to 1.45 into 10 to the power minus 46 kilogram meter square. So now here the mass is given for carbon, this is 12 mu, and for oxygen this is 15.994, and we also know 1 mu equal to 1.6604 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So we can use the formula mu equal to m1 m2 upon m1 plus m2, and we are able to calculate the reduced mass, that is 1.13836 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. Then we use the equation I equal to mu r square. So r square equal to I upon mu. Just substitute the value. We are able to get r equal to 1.131 angstrom. Similarly, the second equation, that is the this one. Here the internuclear distance of CO molecule is given, means R is given. Energy and angular velocity of this molecule in the first excited rotational levels we have to calculate. Here the atomic masses are given, not in AMU, just in kilograms. So no, not needed to multiply. If it is given in AMU, then you have to multiply it with this particular fraction. So we just calculate first mu. We know m1 m2 upon m1 plus m2. We are able to calculate mu. Then we know I equal to mu r square. We are able to calculate the I. Then we also know V equal to h upon 8 pi square IC. Just substitute the value. We are able to calculate the value of V. Then we also know, as we have calculated above, delta equal to 2b into j plus 1, but is in centimeter. But if you want to, you can see get this value in erg or joule, then at that time we have to multiply it with hc. So here we are able to calculate the value of delta E by multiplying all these things, and we are able to get this term. So 7.633 into 10 to the power minus 16. This is in erg because we have substitute the Planck constant value in erg only. Now the problem, it is also asked what is the value of angular velocity. So we know k equal to I omega square. So omega square equal to 7.633 into 10 to the power minus 23, as we have calculated. This one here I have put in minus 23 because I have taken it in radian. So we know that 1 joule equal to 10 to the power minus 7 R. So we just substituted the value. Then here I is in kilogram meter square. So 1.44 into 10 to the power minus 46. The substitute the value, then take the under root. We are able to get 7.28 into 10 to the power 11 radian per second. So these are the some short type of the problems that are coming in general in our university examination. So I have covered nearly fully the purely rotational spectroscopy. Uh, thank you very much.